Alrighty. Okay. Hello, welcome. This is Sophia Macris, and I am the host of Moms Living the Dream Life, How to Raise a Happy Family While Building the Business of Your Dreams. And I am putting this interview series together because I want to empower moms to say yes to their dreams, that it is possible. And for that reason, I am interviewing 21 amazing mompreneurs that can prove to us how it is possible and how they manage it and their daily routines with the children and their business. So today I have with me Jessie Bouton. Jessie Harris Bouton is a proud wife and mom of four. She's a certified life and health coach, author, speaker, and former 300-mile-per-hour race car driver. That's amazing. Jessie's passion is to use her platforms to help women and moms elevate their motherhood, health, relationships, and career through personal growth and intentional living choices. Thank you, Jessie, for being here today with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And I would love for you to share with us how it all began. Like, did you always believe that you were going to be an entrepreneur, or were you going to be a stay-at-home mom? How is it like all in your head and your dream life? How was it, when you were a little girl, how was it all together in your head?
Well, it's funny because everything that I thought years ago is complete 180 now years later. It's just, I think honestly, that's one of the biggest things that I love sharing with people is that it's okay to evolve and grow and change, not just over years, but sometimes from day to day. So, I started years ago, always dreaming of being a race car driver and a mom. And, I was blessed to work really hard when I was younger before I got married to actually acquire the job of being a professional race car driver. I traveled the country, the United States, and got to, oh my gosh, I got paid to drive 300-mile-an-hour race cars, right? I performed in front of fan crowds as large as 40,000. I got to speak at tons of different national sales conventions for companies, large companies like Bic Lighters or Girl Scouts of America and many, many more. But I realized then that my platform of being a race car driver was just an amazing one to try to inspire others to truly live a life that's more in tune with their dreams, because we all have this natural habit of just quitting when life gets a little bit hard and accepting the fact or thinking that we need to accept what other people are doing as our norm as well. And we forget that we are special and we are unique and that we get to choose what we want to be every single day, even if that's different from yesterday. So that was, my whole race car experience. I did that for 7 years. It was amazing. I decided to retire while I was still young enough to get married and have babies because, again, I always wanted to be a mom. Okay. And fast forward a few years in, I was a mom of two and pregnant for my third, and I was in the worst depression of my life. How could I have everything I ever dreamed of? I had a wonderful, loving husband, almost 3 beautiful babies, a very successful career at home. My husband and I own a physical therapy clinic in our hometown. We employ 15 people. Very passionate about helping people live happier, healthier lifestyles. However, what happened is I stopped doing that for myself. I was so focused on just going through the motions because life got really crazy when I became a mom. Everyone needed me. My business needed me. My husband needed me. My kids needed me. And by the time all of that stuff was done, I had nothing left in the tank for me. And I was never normally that person. I was that person that knew I needed to put myself first because that was how I was best for others. But I couldn't quite figure out how to juggle it all as a mom. Being a mom, honestly, I believe is the toughest job in the world. I have traveled like crazy. I have gone on 2 hours of sleep for pretty much every night for pretty much 8 years of my life because that's what my profession called of me. I was always on the go, exhausted and sad and tired and lonely and defeated when I went for a bigger job and I didn't get it. I had all these struggles, yet I always put myself first then and kept my mindset in check. But as a mom, it was a whole different story. So, that's the really, really vague overview of what happened to me. And, I really found myself in a place where my relationships were suffering, my business was suffering, my marriage was suffering. And I was reading a book called The Purpose Driven Life. And in that book, they're talking about choosing a purpose, right? And they say specifically, hey, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says, hey, it's okay for your purpose to change. And that was a light bulb moment for me. I realized that just because I always wanted to be a race car driver and a mom didn't mean that that was all I was ever going to be made of. Hey, how about I decide to still make number one focus being a mom, but number two, change my dream now to not being a race car driver, but still having a platform to inspire others. And that was how the entrepreneurial bug bit me. It's very scary. It is very hard. It is not for the faint of heart. I always tell people what you see is the highlight reel of entrepreneurs. You see the limelight, you see the fancy cars and the vacations, but what you don't see is the behind the scenes nonstop working. That being said, when you are living in your purpose as an entrepreneur, you don't mind working hard because it makes.
Oh, there you are.
Did I lose you?
Yes, you're fine. You're fine.
So sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It makes you. It makes you so darn happy.
Yes. I totally get it, and that's like it's similar to my story too. Like once before I became a mom, I was like always a go for my dream, no fear. I always followed my heart, and then when I became a mom, it's like everything. I was just starts playing it small, and the thing that I would do, I would put everyone else's needs first and not mine. And what helps me right now is whenever I'm feeling down or not, I think like everything is a mess, I just go out and help someone, put a smile on someone's face, or like help just serve someone. And that fills up my cup. But before it was like, it was a road to depression. It was really like, it was really bad. But now everything, like I'm following my purpose. I'm doing what I always love to do. And I am so happy about it. So I totally get it. Like you can always change, and on the way to, life is not just, just plan and schedule what you want when you were a kid. You just, figure it all out on the way, and just follow your heart, follow your passion, and just figure it out on the way. So that I totally love your story. And so I believe that a lot of fears came up while you were on this journey, if any, and how did you overcome the fears?
Yeah, to be truthful, I started on this new entrepreneurial journey, but I didn't have my mindset in check. I was motivated for a moment to start it, and then I was just still working. So at some point, every time, something would knock me down, I would just spiral out of control back into that depression for days or weeks, and I would just quit. And then I would get motivated by something, whether it was a quote I saw on social media or a video, and I would use that for another couple days or couple weeks. And what I realized is I kept running out of gas to keep moving because I was still not putting the work into me. And that was the reality. That's actually how I decided to get certified as a life coach. I knew that I needed accountability to myself. And the only way that I was going to stay accountable to myself is if I had to stay accountable to others. So I had a great passion in learning more about mindset and how, people can actually rev up their own self-happiness by simply making that choice every single day. But I still wasn't making it. So when I had to show up and help others make that choice, then all of a sudden I had fuel every single day to keep pushing forward. I wasn't quitting. I actually have a quote and a motto I say all the time. I say, you can quit today, but you can't quit tomorrow. There's going to be some days when you're tired, when you're wore out, when hearing another no just gets you in the gut or in the heart, Yeah. And that's when it's okay to quit for now. Stop, take a breather, figure out what you need to do to unattach yourself from that, and then pick back up tomorrow, right where you left off. It's amazing how a lot of times that will catapult you forward even further.
Wow. And how, Jessie, how did that, like, how long did it take you to work on that mindset? Because it's not an easy mindset. It's like, and our emotions, like, it's as being a mom, and like now, for instance, the baby's crying, like it needs, like usually I would go, like in the past, I would go crazy, but now it's just, I've said, yes, this is life and this is my job and I'm a mompreneur. So I just have to, this is life. This is the way it is, but I'm still serving and doing what I love to do. So
for me, it's a two-parter. And that is that, number one, even as a certified life and health coach, I still don't have my mindset mastered. And I truly don't believe that anyone does, not even the biggest mindset gurus that you can think of, right? Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, that even they have to show up every single day and they struggle and they have their times when they want to quit. And that is why they too have figured out how to keep themselves accountable. And they're showing up every day and they're willing to say, hey, that didn't serve me, so let's try this again. And that's number one, to never ever think that you are going to have it all figured out. There is no such thing as perfect. That's for sure. And perfect isn't necessary. Honestly, perfect isn't necessary. I honestly say a lot of times it's just not stopping. Success loves speed. That is one thing. And I take that back to the analogy of my race car driving days. But the times I've been most successful is because when it got tough, I didn't let off the gas. When it got tough, I laid on the gas even harder. Right?
Beautiful. Yes.
So you brought up a great example of my little ones crying in the background. Today is a day that I have tons of things scheduled with you. I have another podcast interview. I have a life coaching appointment with one of my clients. And I'm supposed to have a babysitter here with me all morning because we're in the middle of summer and I have 4 kids, 6 and under at home. My initial instinct was, are you kidding me? Today of all days, come on. And then I said, okay, stop right there, because you are going to get whatever you give. I believe in the law of attraction 100,000%. So I've seen it, for example, plus I'm educated in it. But truthfully, when I finally took that deep breath and said, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that we get through today as happy and uneventful as possible for not just me, but for my children, where they don't feel that they were put off, where they don't feel like mommy just yelled all day. And that was, okay, we're going to regroup. We're going to do this together. And my boys were all in, excited. Okay, mama, what do you need? What do you need? But it's because I came to them from a place of happiness and positivity. And as in we have a problem, but let's turn that problem into an opportunity. I talk about that a lot in my book. If you're not familiar, I have authored a book called The Rush Revolution. Rush is an acronym for revving up self-happiness. And I talk a lot about, it's called Rush Ops, which is rush opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. Take your problems. If you need to sit on them for a minute and be sad and be mad and be discouraged, that's fine. But then regroup and turn them into an opportunity for not only you, but whoever else that you may come in contact with to actually learn from and grow from.
That is awesome. You covered like most of the questions here. That is awesome. And so the children, how old are your kids?
So I lied. Actually, one of them just turned 7. I said 6 and under, but one just turned 7. 7, 5, 2, and 11 months.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess you have them into that. That's how you communicate with them, and that's how you've raised them, and that's how you keep like a happy and balanced family life, I guess, right? Anything else like you have a tip for that? Like how do you keep it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a tough one because honestly, I'm challenged in my motherhood every day with them. When they have a little bit of an attitude or when they have a moment of, I can't pull them out of being discouraged and, so pessimistic, I actually just have this natural urge in me to say, hey, and start yelling, don't act like that. Does mommy act like that? And it's how I was programmed. It's how I was wired. It's how I was raised. Okay. So it takes a lot of effort for me to really focus on, I'm a better mom when I speak to my children with positivity. I'm a better wife when I speak to my husband with positivity. So, is there balance? Absolutely not. But when I speak positivity into that negative behavior, very often they end up returning it back to me. So, we still have our moments. They're human. I'm human. But we are seeing great progress in them every single day. And not just in how they interact with, say, myself and my husband, but how they interact with each other. Just yesterday, we had a little bit of an issue, and my 5-year-old was very distraught over something and just taking it to a whole new level of crying and yelling and just being obnoxious. Okay. But my 7-year-old just took a moment and he said, hey, buddy, we can't change this. So are we going to cry about it, or are we going to figure out something to be happy about here? What can we learn from this? And I was like, oh my gosh, you are your mother's kid. And at first it was like, is he just being obnoxious? Because I thought maybe he was being a wise fan, but he wasn't. He was genuinely concerned that his brother was sad and upset. And he wanted to figure out how to make him happy. And that was what helps him. So then he was giving that to others. And holy cow, I mean, my heart just melted on the spot.
Exactly. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Because that's what I say, like basically in that kids imitate. They don't, oh, hi there. Hi there, little one. Like children imitate. They might not show you, but when they're out of the house or when they interact with other people, when you're not in front, they imitate what they've learned from their parents. That's what I have noticed with my children too. So I love that. Maybe they'll be obnoxious with me, but I know that I'm passing on like a nice, value, get like the good out of each bad situation, because life is challenging. That's it. And that's what I love about personal development is like we do face challenges, but we just get back on the road quickly. We don't stay on the negative side too long as we would in the past. So that
absolutely.
So with your husband, hi, sweetie. With your
That's
husband,
Lola.
Lola. Hi there. So do you, with your husband, do you plan date nights, or do you just leave it like free and whatever comes along, or is it everything like planned and scheduled and time management?
Yeah, actually, this is something that I really struggled with. I was very much the mom who was always winging it at everything. And I got by. The truth is I worked really well under pressure and I got by. But that was not helping me elevate my life and elevate my relationships and elevate my businesses. So at some point I had to recognize that I really needed to start planning, prioritizing, scheduling, and then executing. And exactly. We can plan, prioritize, and schedule all we want. But if we're not executing, then we haven't moved ourselves forward at all, right? So we recently, my husband and I had really, again, put ourselves last because we basically are married to our business more than each other. We have 4 children. Life is insane. We're both very passionate about our own personal health as well. We work out regularly and such. And so the time was just not there for date nights. We weren't making it a priority. And only as of this year, this is something that, he actually fought me on for a while. It took him, not that he didn't want to go on a date with me, but he just, hey, it's okay. We'll get by, when we get through this season of parenting. Well, this season doesn't end for 18 years. And I can guarantee you that if we wait that long, we'll be the first couple divorced when our kids are off to college, And, we fell in love. So let's focus on that spark and make sure we're rekindling it at least bi-weekly. Those are our rules. But once we started making that a priority bi-weekly, we now actually do it every single week. Friday night is our date night. We always have a babysitter scheduled, like 3 of them on backup. And Friday night is our night out. We don't do anything crazy. We don't stay out long. We just stay out long enough for the kids to be in bed so we can come home. Right. And still have a little bit more time to, sit on the back patio and talk and dream, have a drink and enjoy each other's just company before having to rush off to bed. We just get that extra time still alone. So yeah, absolutely. And that's not optional for anybody who is in a relationship. I believe 100% it's not optional, because my husband and I were on a very quick path to being divorced only because we weren't putting each other as a priority. And when you start to do that, you don't talk to each other nicely anymore. You don't respect each other enough anymore. You don't do the little things for one another. And we, like this, went right back to who we were meant to be in our relationship. And I mean, I've never been happier, and I never thought that was possible. Everybody thinks the happiest day in your marriage is when you get married. Not for us. It's 8 years later with all of these kids and these crazy businesses and these crazy dreams. And it's because we're doing it together.
Exactly. And not apart. And that is beautiful. And communication and time with your partner is the best, because you just relive it again. Because as you say, you just separate. Life just takes you different ways, and everyone just focuses on what they're doing. And it's just no communication. Communication is the best. And that is awesome. And what about some self-care? Any tips on that? Like, do you have like specific time for you? Jessie's time?
Yep. I call it me time. Every single person needs to find 1 hour a day for me time. And a lot of times my clients will say to me, 1 hour? There's no way I can find that. And I have to then play the devil's advocate and say things with tough love, like, well, let me ask you a question. Do you watch TV? Do you surf social media? And those are usually I don't have to go to any more examples, because once I get to them, they say to me, yes. I say, great. About how long? What do you watch? What do you do? And then they go, oh yeah.
3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I don't watch TV. I don't. I mean, ever. I never watch TV. I also have now combined my me time. Sometimes it's, an hour. Sometimes it's 3 things: working out, meditating, and taking a bath. Next time it might be working out, reading a book. I'm choosing what I want that to be every single day. And that differs at times. But the truth is everybody has an hour. And if you don't, then I'm here to tell you I love you, but you're lying. Yes. It's not the truth. Wake up an hour earlier. I'm up between 4:30 and 5 a.m. every single day. Now, that means that I have to make myself a priority and go to bed by at least 10 p.m. so that I get enough sleep. But again, if you plan, prioritize, and schedule, and then follow through and execute, that's not hard. It doesn't bother me. Plus, I'm very blessed to really be living a life that I'm passionate about, and I feel I'm living my purpose. So I don't wake up to an alarm clock. I wake up to my passion and my purpose every single day.
That is beautiful, Jessie. That is beautiful. And it's an amazing interview, and all the information very valuable for all the moms that want to take that next step and move forward. And just like saying, they have the dream inside, they have their purpose, their passion, but they are just, scared to take that next step. And they're a mom, and what are they going to do, and how they're going to manage everything. So you pretty much covered everything. And thank you so much for that. And I would, any advice you want to give to them? Well, you've covered everything, but is there anything specific you want to tell them, like, just to take that next step? That is it possible for moms to live their dream life, raise a happy family, and build their dream business? Is it possible?
Yeah, and it is possible. The biggest thing that I ask people to remember is that they are their worst enemy. If you are hurt by what someone else, or you think someone else thinks about you, then you need to remember that your thoughts are only your questions and your answers. Unless someone has directly said that to you, you shouldn't be wasting any time on what you think others think about you. And I think that's one thing that we all get caught up in too much. So focus on what it is you truly want that makes you happy, and don't eliminate it thinking that it's too hard or that you can never have it because you aren't this or you aren't that. You are exactly who you think you are. So use your thoughts and put power behind them. You can be anything that you want. You can get an education. I tell everybody all the time, Google.com is my best friend. Yes. And if I don't know from there, I can get pointed in the right direction. I became a certified life coach in my 30s. I didn't want to go back to school, but I was passionate about it. So I didn't say, oh, I'm too old for that. I've got 2 kids. No, just do it. Stop thinking about it and do it.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jessie. Thank you so much. And would you like to say about your gift that you're offering the viewers?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, now it's not going to be available, Sophia, for when you're going to put this, because it starts July 30th.
Okay, well, all right, we'll talk about it. Okay, no, we'll follow up on that. Thank you.
I don't know the dates yet in August. Well, I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's called it's an 8-day experience. I call it the Infinity Wellness Experience. It's 8 days of detoxing yourself in a private group with myself as a certified life and health coach, walking you through how to, as I said, detox yourself from food, people, and beliefs that are holding you back and keeping you stuck. And then taking positive and practical tools that you can do right then each day to start elevating your life, your motherhood, your health, your marriages, your relationships, your careers to one that is more in tune with your dreams. These are tangible takeaways that you can do every single day with me for 8 days. It's an experience, but it's one that has the power to motivate you and motivate your motherhood.
Okay, you got me. I'm in. I'm in. Just.
Oh, I know. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for everyone watching the show. And stay tuned for tomorrow's interview with the next mompreneur, living her dream life, because it is possible. Thank you.
That's right.